Good evening. And welcome to the All right, good evening, and welcome to the West Orange Board of Education Public Board Meeting on Monday, December 15th, 2025. I would like to thank all of you here in person and those watching from home for joining us tonight. I'd like to welcome my fellow board members, as well as Mr. Moore and Ms. Flowers and our student liaisons. Ms. Flowers, would you please take the roll call?
Good evening. Roll call. Dr. Bryant,
Here.
Mr. Stevenson,
Here.
Ms. Vera,
Here.
Mr. Ifker,
Here.
Mr. Rock.
Here.
Thank you. Notice of meeting. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests are discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, a written notice was sent from the Office of the Secretary of the Board on January 7th, 2025. That said notice was sent by regular mail to the West Orange Township Clerk and the editors of the West Orange Chronicle and by email to the Star Ledger. That said notice was posted in the lobby of the Administration Building of the Board of Education and posted on the district website. Please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and may be broadcasted on local TV and the district's website at a future date. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Flowers. In consideration of the closed and public meeting of November 10th, 2025, do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Ifker. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Any comments? Hearing none, Ms. Flowers, please take the roll call.
Dr. Bryant,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Vera,
Yes.
Vice President Ifker,
Yes.
President Rock.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and next, good evening to our student liaisons, Adam Barakat and Nefertari James. Please share your student liaison report with us at this time.
Good evening, everyone. So to start, we're going to go over some academic achievements and achievements in general, which some people will be getting awards today anyway. So Teddy Wickman, congratulations on your 1520 on your SAT score, your PSAT score. Julia Harris for her Best Buddies Award. Emery Gofield, a sophomore, took national stage in Washington, D.C., sharing her student perspectives on AI. That was amazing. We proudly welcome our new Executive Director of Special Services, Dr. Derek Ressa. Recently, our West Orange High School Chamber Orchestra performed for Thanksgiving, so that's also pretty cool. And then our third grade's Gifted and Talented program did a fundraiser, which was pretty awesome for food drives. And lastly, our chess team will also be getting an award today, so I'll leave that to the rest of it.
More towards the athletic side, 3 members of the West Orange football program, Farad Green, David Moore, and Akir Morgan, signed national letters of intent. Since 2019, the program has helped student athletes earn nearly $6 million in college scholarships. On a more serious note, the district extends heartfelt condolences on the passing of Amadeo Chiricello, student assistance counselor at West Orange High School and a deeply valued member of the West Orange community. The West Orange boys soccer team captured the sectional championship and continued an outstanding postseason run to the NJSIAA Group 4 tournament. In the Group 4 semifinals, West Orange defeated Scotch Plains 1-0 with Aiden Ackerman scoring off a cross from Marcus Williams. The team completed a remarkable season with a 5-0 victory over North Brunswick, securing the NJSIAA State Championship, the program's first since 2013. West Orange Elementary Schools participated in the annual Ruby Bridges Walk, honoring courage, equity, and the ongoing commitment to inclusive school communities. And for upcoming events regarding students, winter break is coming soon. Students have an early dismissal on December 23rd and are on break till January 5th. It's important. It's an important.
All right, thank you for that report. Next, Mr. Moore, it is time for your report. Would you please share your superintendent's report with us?
Yes, as our board liaisons pointed out, tonight we have a lot to be proud of. And tonight the board will honor all those recipients as mentioned by our board liaisons and more. Okay, thank you, President Rock. Tonight we are fortunate to spotlight several groups and individuals in our district. While it may take a few minutes, I trust that you'll find the accolades demonstrate the diverse skills of our students and faculty. Okay. First, I'd like to call Ms. Michelle Martino to the podium, our Director of Assessment and Accountability and Intervention, to announce the recipients of the New Jersey Chinese Teachers Association Community Partnership Award. Michelle?
Thank you. It is my pleasure to recognize Felix Plata, Supervisor of World Languages and ESL for Pre-K-12, for two remarkable honors that speak to his extraordinary dedication to our students, our community, and the field of world language and ESL education. Earlier this month in Trenton, Felix was one of only 3 educators in the entire state to be recognized during the New Jersey Assembly voting session with an assembly resolution for his exceptional service to the students of all cultures, particularly those of the Hispanic heritage in West Orange, and for his impactful leadership as an educator and a community advocate. The resolution was presented, highlighting the significance of his contributions to our community. Felix was also selected to receive the New Jersey Chinese Teachers Association Community Partnership Award for supervisors or administrators, an honor nominated by his own Chinese language teachers in recognition of his steadfast advocacy, encouragement, and unwavering support for world language programs. He was celebrated at the NJCTA Award Dinner on December 13th. As we share these accomplishments today, we want to express how deeply grateful we are for Felix's service, vision, and dedication to the community and students of West Orange. We are truly fortunate to have such a committed, compassionate, and impactful leader as part of our team, and we proudly celebrate his well-deserved achievements. So please welcome Mr. Felix Plata.
First, I want to express my appreciation for the board, superintendent, the community at large, for all the work that everyone here does for our community. And I obviously I'm very grateful for the recognition that I received, but I have to give a sincere thank you to my fellow administrators who I have the privilege, due to my role, to work with every single one of them in one capacity or another. They are outstanding, they're amazing, and they make it easy to do great things. And then, of course, our wonderful teachers. I'm blessed to have phenomenal ESL and world languages teachers, many who are here, who definitely are the reason why I received any recognition. That being said, the most important individuals in this community are our students, and I am. It's my pleasure as the supervisor of world languages to congratulate one of our outstanding students, Miss Chloe Chang, and her parents, right? And her parents, because nothing gets done without your parents. So to the parents of Chloe Chang. But Chloe was honored at the New Jersey Chinese Teachers Association annual award ceremony this past weekend in Edison, New Jersey, where she received the NJCTA Youth Leadership Award. She was recognized from students across New Jersey for her leadership and her contributions to the Chinese language and culture, but for all of the leadership roles that she has. NJCTA's mission is to promote and recognize the study, teaching, and appreciation of Chinese language and culture across all educational levels in New Jersey. In that same vein, the mission of the World Languages Program is to develop globally competent, multilingual, and culturally responsive citizens who have the understanding and necessary skills to positively impact our world now and the future. And every day we're reminded how important that skill set is in our world. Chloe continues to demonstrate her leadership and success on both counts during her time here at the high school. And her receipt of this award, where she was selected over students from all over New Jersey, is another indicator to that fact, to her excellence. Chloe is an outstanding student, president of the Chinese Club, president of the Chinese National Honor Society, president of West Orange High School Student Council, a student athlete, and most importantly, is a wonderful, according to her friends, her teachers, is a wonderful personality who seeks to reach her fullest potential in all that she does. She made her teachers, our Chinese program, our school, and our community proud. So on behalf of the superintendent, the board, we congratulate you, Chloe. So please come up and receive this recognition, this well-deserved recognition. Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you both. Tonight, we are delighted to have a special guest from the New Jersey State Amistad Commission, who's here to recognize one of our teachers. I call to the podium, Dr. Patrick Lammy.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I want to just say one thing before I kind of address the board and the audience. I am so impressed with the structure of the student report here. And I've been to several board meetings, and this is the first of its kind. So I want to congratulate the board, the West Orange board, for doing that. I'm here tonight as the executive director of the Amistad Commission, but also a representative of the Office of the Governor, as well as the New Jersey Department of Education. I want to thank the West Orange Board of Education, as well as in particular Superintendent Moore, as well as Dr. Kimya Jackson, who's not here with us tonight. Kimya is actually the principal of the school we're recognizing tonight, which is Redwood Elementary. So I'm going to ask Joy Burnett to come and join me at the podium for a moment while I speak to why she's here and why I'm here. The Amistad Commission is in, but not of, the New Jersey Department of Education. It started out as the Amistad Bill in 2002, legislation sponsored by Craig Stanley and Assemblyman Bill Payne, and signed into law in 2002 by Governor McGreevey. And since that time, we have spent the past 3 years, by way of a new legislation, which is why we're here this evening, signed into law by Governor Murphy on August 30th of 2021. That legislation is the Governor's Exemplary Award. It's the highest award offered to a teacher in the state of New Jersey from the Amistad Commission. The award involves a selection process, which includes a committee appointed by the governor, by the Senate, by the Assembly, very competitive. It includes a significant monetary gift to the teacher of $2,500 and to the district of $2,500 to continue to do the work of the commission. The commission's charge is to ensure, and New Jersey became the first state in the nation to ensure that every classroom in the state of New Jersey reflects a curriculum, in particular at the time in 2002, that includes the narrative and contributions of African and African Americans in the K-12 curriculum. Initially started as an initiative for social studies, world history, and US history, moved to every single subject area in 2020. New Jersey is the first state in the nation to accomplish this, and New York followed in 2005. So I want to give you guys shout out to New Jersey itself. I want to start by acknowledging somebody else in the space. I'm going to ask Ms. Carbo Jackson to stand up. She was the first recipient of the Amistad Exemplary Award in 2023. And I might add that Ms. Carbo Jackson is a kindergarten teacher. A kindergarten teacher being recognized in 2023 as the first for infusing the narrative and contributions of African Americans in the kindergarten classroom. So I just wanted to recognize you this evening as we recognize Ms. Burnett. Thank you. And with Ms. Burnett's selection this evening, she becomes the second to receive the award as a teacher, again, in Redwood Elementary, making West Orange and Ms. Burnett as a second, where the only school district and or school in the state of New Jersey to have received this award 2 times. So please join me in recognizing Ms. Burnett as a 2025 Amistad Commission Exemplary Award winner by the Office of the Governor of New Jersey and the New Jersey Department of Education. Congratulations. And board, I'm going to ask Ms. Burnett if she wants to say a few words. And again, you're going to have to come back out again. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm going to be quick. I just want to thank my principal, Dr. Kimya Jackson, Miriam Carbo Jackson, who was the first winner. They both inspired me to, to push and to make sure that at every opportunity that I get, I am infusing African American studies through every subject that I teach. And it's a pleasure to be here tonight to represent West Orange Schools. Thank you, Mr. Moore, who's always super supportive in whatever we want to do. And I just want to thank all of you for supporting us every day. Thank you.
All right, this is just from Dr. Jackson. She wishes she could be here. Sorry, board. One quick second. She said she's very proud of how Ms. Burnett intentionally addresses diversity in her lessons, and is also, as a WOW member, she goes above and beyond to provide age-appropriate Amistad-related resources to her students and staff. And we look forward to her continued success as she implements Amistad throughout the school year. And personally, I just want to congratulate Joy myself for this prestigious award. I know as a kindergarten teacher laying the foundation, looking forward to knowing that there's an upper grade teacher who's intentionally adding to our students' depth of knowledge. She not only cares about history for our students, but she always collaborates. She's always coming to a various amount of staff members and just sharing her knowledge to add to their classroom. And as a community, because both of us live in town, we're proud of her that she continues to teach African and African American history to our community that is so inclusive, and this inclusive history that needs to be taught from kindergarten going up. And so I just want to thank her for her time, her effort, and it takes research to really be able to teach this, right? You can't do this work. It's not always in a textbook. Well, actually, it's not in a textbook. We got to go and do the research. And so her taking the time to research and making it relevant to not only African Americans throughout America, but also coming back to New Jersey, African American history, and laying that work down. So thank you, Ms. Joy Burnett.
Okay. Congratulations and thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate you, Ms. Burnett. At this time, I call upon our high school principal, Mr. Oscar Guerrero, who will recognize the outstanding achievement of one of our 11th grader students for their PSAT. I'm excited.
Good evening, everyone. Before I go into principal mode as a Redwood parent, shout out to Ms. Burnett. Congratulations. Shout out to the school that cares, Redwood. I have a couple of recognitions. The first is one of our 11th grade students. It is with immense pride and pleasure that we recognize an outstanding achievement by one of our very own students, Theodore Wickham. Teddy is a dedicated and bright student in the 11th grade who attended Gregory Elementary School. Shout out to Gregory. Come on over, Teddy. Shout out to Gregory. Thank you. And also Roosevelt Middle School prior to West Orange High School. This past fall, he achieved a perfect score on the PSAT. Yes, indeed. Just to provide some perspective and some context, on average, 1.6 million students take the PSAT each year, and less than 1% achieve a perfect score. This not only reflects his hard work, but also the dedication of his family and his teachers. Congratulations, Teddy, as I present you with this certificate for academic excellence. And secondly, it is my pleasure tonight to introduce a team that has truly made history at West Orange High School. Our chess team, led by their dedicated faculty advisor, Mr. Ara Berberian, and seniors Sadiq Sekou, David Milstein, Xander Venutolo, and David Deddy. This group of students achieved a monumental milestone at the New Jersey K-12 State Scholastic Tournament held at Brookdale Community College. After a decisive victory over Livingston High School, they secured first place in competition and were crowned for the first time in school history state champions in chess. Please join me in congratulating this group of students. Come on up, guys.
Principal Guerrero, you may want to join. Our AD, Mr. Stefan Zakella, at the podium as we recognize our state championship soccer team.
So before I talk about this, the soccer team and call Coach Nevins to say a few words, I'm going to ask the boys and the coaches to just stand along the lovely Miss Connors over here. So make your way to the front. So this journey started a long time ago, and this is a celebration that will continue to go on for a long time. This group is truly one of the best teams to ever come through West Orange High School. In a day where there's been such a disparity between non-publics and publics, to accomplish what we did this year, it's going to be looked at for a long time as one of the greatest things that have happened in West Orange athletics. The countless, and I'll have Coach, I don't want to steal his thunder, the countless team and individual awards and recognition this past year is newsworthy. To start off the year with a 10th ranking and to finish as strong as we did is a testament to the work and the growth that they had all throughout the summer, throughout this fall, seeing them practice and come together as a team to do grounding and yoga and all those things that Coach, I mean, it was really just incredible to see this team, and individually, you weren't perfect, you were near it, but together you had incredible synergy and you were perfect. Just earlier this week, I don't know if the team fully recognizes it, but they had just finalized that we are also along with all the recognition of being state champs, and that we're the American division, the toughest conference in the country. We're the American division champions. And I'm just so proud of everything that has been accomplished. And we're going to celebrate this team and all the individuals for many years to come. So without further ado, I'd like to call on Coach Nevins, who is truly the mastermind behind all of our success in the program. This is our third group state championship. We had 8 sectional championships. His resume is unmatched. So thank you for everything, Coach. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Zakella. I know I've been sitting in the audience, and when coaches or people speak for too long, it drags on. So very quickly, to give those of you out there that don't know a lot about the team, they finished 24-2, and our only 2 losses were to the #1 team in the country, St. Benedict's. We lost 2-1 at home and 1-0 in the county finals. To put some perspective into that, the #4 ranked team in the country, Chaminade of New York, lost 6-0 to St. Benedict's. And St. Benedict's average score, they would beat teams 4-5, 6-0. They not only finished 24-2, they scored 100 goals and only conceded 14, which is pretty remarkable. And that's a testament to having really good attacking players, really good defenders, and a great goalie. They were ranked #2 in New Jersey, and we finished the season ranked #8 in the country. That's fantastic. That's the highest we've ever finished. There were too many individual honors to go through all of them, but many all county, all conference, all state. We had 2 regional All-Americans, an All-American and a New Jersey State Player of the Year, which is truly remarkable. But beyond their talent on the field, this was like the nicest group of kids ever. And people always say, oh yeah, when you're winning, it's fun and it's easy, but that's not always true. And this group, whether I suggested we do grounding and we do things like that, and most high school kids would be like, I'm not doing that. And they were into everything, whether it was team parties, hangouts, bus rides, everybody, the best players on the team treated the lower players on the team like brothers, which was great. And that makes it so much more rewarding. So we're going to call them up now so they can get their certificates. We'll just go in the order they're standing. Dennis Benegas. One of our captains, Carl Hall. Our very fine goalkeeper, Augustine Arieta. Darius Millington. Marcus Jackson. Aiden Ackerman. Dylan Flitt. Luke Brown. Chase Wins. Justin Amaya. Yankee Suarez. Julian Gomez. Marcus Williams. Haniel Vargas Espino. Melvin Palta. Joseph Castillo. And Ben Wadialgo. How'd I do with the pronunciation, Ben? And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that all of my assistant coaches are wonderful. Some of them couldn't come. Everybody in district who knows him, Freddie Christian is not just a great soccer coach. He's one of the best people that works in this district. Absolutely amazing human being.
Dr. Rock, for the final portion of my report, I ask on board member Dr. Dia Bryant to make an acknowledgement.
Thank you, Superintendent Hayden. We all know that this was an election season and it was one that was very busy. If you ask anyone who ran for office in our town, how many hours they spent walking around, door knocking, printing things, coming up with ideas, there are lots and lots of numbers, and I bet it'd be close to 5011. That's the number I like. Nonetheless, Susan Palmucci, one of the candidates for the Board of Education, nudged us all and gave us all a bit of a challenge. What if we decided to come together and do a coat drive for kids? And I'm incredibly grateful for her leadership in that way. And you will notice standing back there, and we're going to ask them to start to move forward. Almost everyone that ran for town council or Board of Education is here. And they have brought with them all of those goods that you see on the table, which are coats for our kids. So we'll take a picture with everyone. They're going to bring the coats up, even if you, yeah, just bring them up, y'all. Our town is obviously growing winners, if that's not clear from tonight's celebrations. And it takes this village to really do that. And so we're appreciative of all the candidates and everyone that came out tonight.
This is a great example on how politics should really work. The intent of everyone is to do right by the kids in our community. And I thank the candidates that may not have won. They won tonight by coming together with the candidates that may have won to do something for our community. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Bryant, for that acknowledgement, and thank you to the board members for taking a picture, and thank you to the candidates that ran for board. Although they may not have been successful in the vote, they were successful here tonight in helping us achieve our goal of helping our community with coats. So thank you. Can I give them a round of applause? They did walk out. They left, but I was trying to know. At this time, I would like to present the HIB report. There's been 3 incidents of investigation of HIB and 2 have been founded. And that concludes my report for the evening. Thank you, Dr. President Ron.
Thank you, Superintendent Moore, and congratulations to everyone that was recognized tonight. It's a great cross-section of our community to see all the different types of things that are recognized here. Do we have any committee reports from the board? Any?
Okay, thank you. Very briefly, just a couple of things. When I was first elected, I promised to visit every school, and I believe I've done that now, except for the pre-K, which we'll get to when it gets a little warmer. I do want to mention my visit last month to Hazel Elementary, Mr. Castillo. That's the oldest school in the district. And I just have so much respect and admiration for them. It looks old. The hallways are narrow, the ceilings are a little lower. We went through to where the lunchroom is, and he told me that that's the newer part of the school from 1950. But nobody complains. Nobody's saying, gee, I wish I was at another school. It was just like 100%, optimism, great attitude, moving forward. Look what we're doing. I really left there on a high note. So I appreciate them and all that they do. Looking forward, I'm looking forward to having a meeting with the new I guess it's a supervisor in charge of transportation, Mr. Michael Schaaf. Very interested in hearing what we're doing to keep up with all the developments with bus safety, especially the use of artificial intelligence. We should be leading that push, and I think we're on the right track there. I'm also looking forward in the new year to meeting with Dr. Derek Ressa, the new head of special services. He's got large shoes to fill with respect to Connie, but I'm looking forward to meeting with him. And I know some other parents have already approached me, hoping that they can get a word in with him. And then finally, this is going to be my last meeting as vice president of the West Orange Board of Education. I have 3 years to serve, but this will be my last one in leadership. And I just want to thank my fellow board members for giving me the opportunity. I learned a lot. I hope I gave a little. And I especially want to thank Mr. Rock, the president of the board, for his leadership and his guidance. And look forward to a very strong new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Ifker. All right, next I'd like to share anything. Sorry, do you have a committee report? Oh, yeah. Policy, go ahead.
No, thank you, President Rock. Superintendent Moore, I just want to acknowledge and again congratulate Ms. Joy Burnett and preceding her in the award, Ms. Miriam Carbo-Jackson, and by extension, Dr. Kimya Jackson for the achievement with respect to the Amistad Award. As many of you know, the Amistad legislation has been challenging to enact in districts throughout the state. And so for 2 teachers who have been awarded this award in one school in this district says a lot. So I commend the teachers for their awards, and I commend Dr. Jackson for facilitating teachers to have the autonomy and the, excuse me, and the wherewithal against opposition, I use the term opposition directly, to implementing such curriculum within the curriculums that they teach, because it's not easy. And these awards further exemplify that the legislation really should be pervasive in our curriculum, and oftentimes it's not. And so it's important legislation. It's important that this history is complete within classrooms. And so for this district, for 2 of our teachers, for one of our schools in particular, to be bestowed this award now twice, I think says something of that environment, says something of the leadership, says something of these teachers who are willing to put forth curriculum that benefits all students in terms of their understanding, in terms of the kids' knowledge about important history for this country, I think is incredible. So congratulations again. And I would also say, and this will come up in further in policy, excuse me, there are several proposed policy changes that the board is undertaking for consideration. I just want to note for the community that policy changes by the policy committee and by extension, all the board committees are under constant review to ensure that we're operating optimally with respect to the policies and the practices that occur within our school buildings and within our district every day. So you will see several policies that are there for which the board is now reviewing and undertaking and will be voted on for adoption at a later time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. All right, now I would like to share my board president's report, which I'll try to keep brief since we've been here for quite a while already. So first, a quick update on last year's state budget. We received, mentioned this at a previous meeting, $300,000 in supplemental appropriations, thanks to our state legislative team here in LD 27. Of that $300,000, which was earmarked in the state budget for capital improvements throughout the district, One project that's underway this month is a boiler replacement at PVW here in the high school to the tune of $123,850. So that money is being well spent in a timely fashion now that it's very cold out to make sure that our schools are heated. So we thank Senator McKee and Assemblywoman Begoli and Assemblywoman Koyaza's-Gill for that support in the state budget. Next, we talk quite a bit about state funding and the upcoming state budget. So about 2 weeks ago, I got a call from Assemblywoman Begoli. There were two bills coming up. She is on the Assembly Education Committee down in Trenton. These two bills dealt with the school funding formula and making some adjustments to it moving forward. She wanted to make sure that I knew they were being heard because she had heard from both me and community members here in West Orange that were very concerned about this. So I did give her some feedback and I wanted to bring them to your attention. They're A5966 and S4855. That bill would do, among other things, it would put a limit on how quickly year over year a district's local fair share could increase. And as we talked about before, one of the reasons why our aid is decreasing is that our equalized valuation and district income is increasing at a astronomical rate. And so as that increases, that cuts into our equalization aid and reduces the amount of aid that we get. So if there's a cap on how much that would increase year over year, that would benefit us and give us more stability in terms of how much aid West Orange could expect. That bill would also require the State Department of Education to release aid figures early. Right now, we don't find out how much money we're going to get until the end of February. And within a couple weeks, we then have to turn around and adopt a preliminary budget that we haven't been able to plan because we can't plan it until we know how much money we're going to be receiving from the state. This bill would require that to be released in December. It's a preliminary number that would come out in December. The commissioner could change that number, but he could only increase. The commissioner could not decrease below what is promised in that December figure. It would also provide other transparency. The State Department of Ed would have to put something on their website to help the public understand how this formula works because it is somewhat cryptic and people have trouble following for good reason because there's a lot of minutia in there, but this would require the state to explain that a little bit better to the public. The second bill, A5310, S3917, deals with, among other things, special education funding. One of the things is that last year and previously the state used census-based funding, which means that they looked at the overall proportion of special ed students throughout the state, and every district was essentially funded at the same level. The same percentage of students were assumed to require services. Last year, they switched that to look at the actual percentage of students in a district that require services and fund at those levels. That resulted in us receiving several million additional dollars in state funding last year. This bill would require that to continue going forward. So the state would look at our actual enrollment and use that as a basis for determining funding. It would also require the state to increase the amount of extraordinary aid that it gives out. Extraordinary aid is a special kind of special ed aid that the state provides to districts where they reimburse the district for a part of the expenses when the cost of educating a special ed student exceeds certain thresholds, either $40,000 if they're in district or $55,000 if they're out of district. The problem is that the state only reimburses a small amount of that every year. So this would require the state to increase that appropriation year over year with the goal of eventually fully funding that extraordinary aid. So I wanted to bring your attention to those two bills later on in this agenda. We do have a resolution that we're passing to demonstrate our commitment as a board to this issue, to urge our Senate and Assembly members to pass these laws. And we also encourage the public to review that agenda because you can then speak to your senators and your Assembly people for the same purpose. And that concludes my report. Next, I will get to policy items, as Mr. Stevenson alluded to. We have one policy on for first reading. That is policy number 2365, acceptable use of generative artificial intelligence. The policy has been reviewed and revised by administration and presented this evening for first reading. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, the policy will appear on the next agenda for second reading. Is there question? Okay.
Policy 2365.
Yeah, 2365.
Sure.
Policy will appear on the next agenda for second reading and for adoption. Next, we have the following district policies which are marked for abolishment. As Mr. Stevenson alluded to, we've reviewed our policy book and there are some duplicative ones. So these are all policies where the topic of the policy is covered by another policy elsewhere. So we're trying to reduce some of that duplication. Ms. Flowers, do I have to actually read through the list of these?
No, you did not.
Oh, thank you very much. So we will read that into the record imaginarily. Is there any discussion about the abolished policies?
No discussion on the abolished policies except for, excuse me, that the board policy committee works in consultation with our policy consultant Strauss Esme to ensure that the policies are compliant and consistent with our fellow boards throughout the state and that they are compliant with the law.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. All right. Do we take a motion on this, Ms. Flowers?
Yes, we should.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion, Mr.
So
Stevenson?
moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Is there a second? Mr. Ipker, thank you. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. Ms. Flowers, please take the roll.
Dr. Bryant?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Ms. Vera?
Yes.
Vice President Ipker?
Yes.
President Rock?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next we will have questions from the public on agenda items only. Any community member who would like to make comments or ask questions, please come to the podium at this time. Please state your name and home address for the record, then begin your comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have any members of the public here in the audience tonight who wish to make a public comment?
Good evening, Yvette Borden, 23 Tenney Road. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. This year, my family has been involved in an allegation of harassment, intimidation, and bullying within the district. I'm not here to discuss the specifics of that matter, obviously, but to raise a broader concern based on that experience. HIB investigations are not a procedural formality. They are a core student protection function, and the outcomes can carry serious and lasting consequences for every student involved. For that reason, it is essential that each complaint receive a thorough, careful, and impartial investigation, not merely a prompt one. I am concerned that at times HIB investigations may be treated as a compliance exercise rather than the substantive fact-finding process the law and students require. When investigations are cursory or incomplete, they risk failing both the students seeking protection and those entitled to a fair assessment of the allegations against them. I urge the board to exercise active oversight of the district's HIB process and to evaluate not only whether investigations are completed within required timeframes, but whether they reflect the level of rigor, diligence, and fairness that students and families are entitled to expect. Accountability in this area matters because the quality of these investigations directly affects student well-being, trust in the system, and confidence in the district's commitment to student safety. Thank you for your time and attention to this issue.
Good evening. Adam Kramer, 43 Conforti, apartment 77. As I'm the person that just lost the election for state legislature, which is mostly, or a lot of the questions were about school funding, I thought I'd come and share my thoughts on that and offer a few suggestions. Most people don't realize this, but about a third of all the taxes we pay to New Jersey, sales, income, gasoline, everything else, corporate, state, goes to the Department of Education. A little over $1 billion of that goes to actually operate the state Department of Education. And then the rest of it gets funded back to, if you include the charters, about 695 different entities by formula. It's a complex formula. And when I went around the 6 towns in this district, I talked a lot about it. My feeling and the general feeling of the colleagues who ran in the Republican Party is that the formula should be more based on enrollment and less based on demographic and economic factors related to the district in question. Had the voters opted for that choice, which they haven't done since the late 90s when the Republicans last controlled the legislature, West Orange would economically be better off. Not going to debate that now. I'm just going to say it's really important, and how you feel about it should be something that you should engage your legislatures on. And when it comes time to vote for the legislature or the governor, vote according to those desires and what you feel is in the best interest, because this is economically probably the biggest part. Well, economically is the biggest part of the state budget. But that belies the question. Whether we fund West Orange or education from the federal government, the state government, or the local government still has to be paid for. And whether we like to admit it or not, any tax to pay for it is going to have a negative consequence somewhere else. So what it really comes down to is we have to, as a representative republic at all levels, figure out what education do we really need and what can we realistically pay for. My view personally is that decision should come down to you, the most local level. I think it's better made at this level than in Trenton or Washington, because you know the teachers, you know the students. I doubt the governor or the other legislatures or Congress people know the students or the teachers here. So even though I voted for only 2 of you up there out of 5, I trust all of you and respect you.
Kramer, you're
Just 10 more seconds. To make wise decisions and engage the community on how best to make the decision of how much education we can afford and what education we really need. Thank you.
Mr. Kramer.
Hi, good evening. Will Donahoe, 84 Cobain Terrace. On behalf of the West Orange Parents for Education, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. We recently requested and received the state summary of the School Funding Reform Act survey, which we discussed a little bit tonight, and many of the insights submitted by West Orange families are reflected in that report. We appreciate fellow parents and community members, the board, and the administration for their taking the time to engage in that process. In particular, we thank President Rock and the rest of the board for providing the helpful insights that helped inform how our own survey responses could best benefit the district. This is the boring but real process stuff that leads to real change statewide. We also wanted to share that we recently had the opportunity, as well as President Rock, to engage with Assemblywoman Begoli regarding upcoming school budget legislation. After one of our members reached out, we were able to provide insights into how the current state budget process and existing laws negatively impact our district school budget disproportionately. We look forward to continuing to work with the board and other caregivers in town as we advocate for the full and fair funding of our schools at the state level and advocate for fully funding all of our schools across the state. The budget sessions your office have organized have been both insightful and engaging. They have helped create a meaningful shared understanding of the school budget process, which is quickly approaching once again, as we all know. Saw the calendar out there in the agenda. Our group is particularly interested in gathering more details around budgeted items such as transportation, while costs continue to rise across the county and the state well beyond what is covered by the tax levy cap. We hope to follow up soon and work collaboratively with the board and the district office on this issue. Thank you.
Hi, Abby Fogel, 138 Forest Hill Road. I'm also here with West Orange Parents for Education, and thank you for this opportunity to share some thoughts. We were really encouraged by the 5-year strategic planning forum held last month and look forward to hearing more about its outcomes. We appreciated Mr. Moore organizing the forum and all the staff and administration who gave their time to be there and engage with us. We appreciated President Rock's presence and engagement with the conversations. While we wish more people had been able to attend, it appears the survey is still open, and we encourage the superintendent to email the district caregivers to visit the new West Orange Board of Education website and submit their feedback. So again, thank you for your efforts this year to increase transparency and for making difficult decisions under challenging constraints. West Orange Parents for Education is here to support the district and to advocate for West Orange's children, both locally and at the state level. Thank you.
Larry Weintraub, 76 Comain Terrace. I'm also here with the West Orange Parents for Education. And I want to talk about some of the advocacy and the conversations that we've had with Assemblywoman Begoli and the bills that are up for consideration in the legislature. I know the board has a resolution prepared on those, and we really appreciate the real detailed engagement on policy that you have all undertaken, and the communication that comes from that with our legislators. It's very, very important. I'm going to disagree that while the formula is not well publicized, it's actually not that complicated. In fact, it's taken me a few weeks to code up something to simulate it and understand how West Orange is affected by the various pieces of that formula. And as President Rock has mentioned, the use of income in that calculation is really quite devastating for West Orange. It is not an easy issue to advocate for the legislature. The places that money would have to come from are probably not places that are going to lose state aid. But it's really important that we advocate for what West Orange needs and what is best for us. I'd also want to point out, as the resolution mentions, those bills do not go nearly far enough in doing the things that we need for equity and funding across the state and to help West Orange. In particular, the restraints on the growth of local fair share are fairly minimal. And in fact, the way they freeze what happened in 25-26 for 26-27 is not going to be good for us. And it's really important that we share that with our legislators now while these bills are still under consideration and being amended by committee before they finally pass. And so I just want to make sure that we are here as advocates for our community, and we hope to be able to communicate with you, with our legislators, and with the citizens of West Orange, so that we can absolutely best advocate for what our students need and the resources in order to continue top-rate education for our students. So I thank you for your time and for your energy and for your efforts and for your engagement.
Dwight Williams, 12 Nance Road. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you today. I know your time is valuable. I come as a concerned parent, interested in the financial health and freedom of our youth, and in connection with a local nonprofit, CoreSWIC. I think you guys may be familiar with, but for those who aren't, CoreSWIC is a circle of sisters seeking spiritual and wellness connection. And they founded a financial literacy program called Early Practical Financial Discipline. And what we are seeking is to establish a formal resolution for partnership. I know that over the course of the last few years, we've had this informal relationship. And I will tell you that as a parent of two who are enrolled in the program as it exists today, the level of education and level of knowledge about finance has impacted them immensely. They probably know more about the stock market at age 11 than I did at 21 as a finance major in college. And so what we are looking to do is just formalize that program a little bit more, have it be just as meaningful and profound as any of the sporting events or the sporting clubs that we have for after school. We saw what the soccer team did. We saw, perfect PSAT scores. And we think that that financial literacy piece is just as important as any of those. And I think with partnership with this program, I think our kids can benefit immensely. I think, what the program has done in terms of its workshops has been great. We recognize that budget constraints are what they are. So in the past, we've been able to use actually this space for a lot of programming. That programming is going to switch. We're going to go part virtual. We've got some other spaces throughout West Orange. But what we would like to have happen, and you'll see this in some of the petition language that we use here, we'd like to see at least some reconsideration for free use of the space in the high school, at least for some of our major fundraisers, 2 of them. But we've sort of figured out ways to do the programming outside of that. So I just want to give you something to chew on and consider. And I'll also just share with you the 100 or so petitions that we have so far, with more to come. Thank you for your time, guys.
Good evening, Denise Elder, 7 Linden Court. So I too am representing Corswick. My role within Corswick is as a mentor, currently to a high school student who is going from the junior year to the senior year. And I really want to impress upon you that the partnership that we've had so far with West Orange High School has been excellent. From what I can see as a mentor, seeing the students engaged, and even though the programs are on a Saturday, I think they look forward to it. As a mentor, it warms my heart because I see how the students grow and how they start understanding how financial literacy benefits them not only in their current role, but as they grow and go into adulthood. While I know that the program complements the existing financial literacy program that starts in middle school, the benefit that Corswick program has is that we actually start with first graders, and we take them at that age and we start on their level, introducing them to some basic financial skills, things that they can use and apply within their age group. And then as they move through the program, what we do is we encourage them and engage them to understand and learn more about financial literacy as it applies to when they move to junior high school and in high school and eventually to college. I'm sure everybody here is aware that funding for college or even trade schools is not cheap. And if we can start our students understanding early what the value is to budget, to understand what it is to save money, to invest money, and to help their parents to save money and to move ahead, that would be the real benefit of this program. So as a mentor, I want to encourage this board to continue partnering with us and to put something formal in place so that we can get other mentors and maybe expand this across the West Orange and in Essex County. So I thank you for your consideration, and I'm looking forward to partnering with you in the future. Thank you.
I won't repeat the nonprofit because I'm with them, so I won't have to say it 3 times. So good evening, everyone. My name is Kenneth Gibbons. I'm a lifelong resident of West Orange. I attended and graduated through the West Orange public school system, as did my mother did. I'm also a proud father of a 3-year-old daughter who represents the 4th generation of my family to live in our family home in West Orange. She means everything to me, and she reminds me every day that our children are the future of this community. I grew up as the son of a single mother in the Valley, and I feel truly blessed that I have achieved what I have done in the financial world. Over my career, I've worked at very large firms and eventually reached the level of a partner. Today, I own my own CPA firm here in West Orange, and I am intentionally dedicating my time and experience back to the community that raised me. West Orange has invested heavily in sports, and I played sports too when I was in school. And they play an important role in teaching teamwork and discipline, but sports alone are not enough to prepare our children for long-term success. We have all heard stories of high-profile athletes who earn millions and only face financial hardship later in life because they never were taught how to manage their money. We must equip our students with the knowledge and skills that make sound financial decisions and build stable futures. While West Orange does provide some financial literacy education, I even recall taking an accounting class in high school here, but it was our football coach that was teaching the course. However, what we offer is to complement what West Orange School is doing, professionals with practical experience. That is why I strongly believe our mission and its commitment to promoting financial literacy to our community. This work begins now through our after-school programs right here in West Orange. As a financial literacy instructor and a long-term mentor in my profession, I see firsthand how this impact this education can have. I am volunteering my time because I believe in financial literacy is not a luxury, but is a necessity. That is why I'm respectfully asking for approval of our memo of intent and resolution. By doing so, you are investing in our children and our long-term strength of our community. Thank you for your time and for believing in this mission.
All right, thank you all for those comments. No, I was looking at Mr. Moore. Let's see. I don't think there's anything. All right. So we will move on to our resolutions. We have a motion to approve the personnel items A1 through A4.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Bryant. I want to congratulate the following retirees: Michelle DiMatteo, a Comp Apps STEM teacher at Liberty Middle School for her 9 years of service. Phil Santiago, our Director of Technology, for his 30 years of service. Luz Cubero, a paraprofessional at West Orange High School, for her 6 years of service. Isabel Olivi Balabona, a bus driver in transportation, for her 13 years of service. And Carlos Salazar, a custodian at West Orange High School, for his 19 years of service. Thank you all for your service to the West Orange students and our school community. Best wishes to you, and welcome to the club where every day is Saturday. Is there any discussion on personnel? Hearing none, Ms. Flowers, please take the roll.
Dr. Bryant,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Vera,
Yes.
Vice President Ifker,
Yes.
President Rock.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, may I have a motion to approve the curriculum and instruction items B1 through B7?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant or Mr. Ifker. It's been a long meeting. I think I need more coffee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Flowers, please take the roll. Move us
Dr.
along.
Bryant,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Vera,
Yes.
Vice President Ifker,
Yes.
President Rock.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next, may I have a motion to approve the finance items, C, special services items A1, and business office items B1 through 9?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Vera. Want to say a huge thank you to Ms. Connie Salambino and her team for the collaboration with Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas to obtain the generous donation of technology equipment with a total estimated value of $6,500 to start our first in-district lending program for augmentative communication. Thank you, Ms. Salambino, for that, and to Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas. Is there any other discussion on this motion? Hearing none, Ms. Flowers, please take the roll.
Dr. Bryant,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Vera,
Yes.
Vice President Ifker,
Yes.
President Rock.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next, may I have a motion to approve reports items D1 through 7?
Motion.
Thank you, Dr. Bryan. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. This includes an update to the calendar. Do you want to address that briefly, Mr. Moore?
Just a reminder to everyone, as we said the last board meeting, when we have elections, due to what we experience in terms of the climate with regards to the voting, where we received many threats. We felt we will be now closed for the primaries and will close on elections, as we do not want to put our faculty, administrators, or students at risk. What we will do is on the 18th of June, we will have a half a day, but we will now be closed for elections, as I feel that the tenor of the political climate has now risen to where I'm concerned about violence and harm and so forth. And I'm not comfortable with it as a superintendent, but also I feel that myself having children in the district, our students, placing our students at risk, and of course our staff at risk is just not an option. So we will be closing June 2nd. The primaries.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Flowers, please take the roll.
Yes. Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Vera,
Yes.
Vice President Ifker,
Yes.
President Rock.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and finally, may I have a motion to approve miscellaneous item E1. This is
So-
board resolution supporting transparency, fairness, and predictability in the school funding formula.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ifker. Is there any discussion?
Just a quick comment, President Rock. Just want to commend you on your analysis of the current state school funding laws, as well as taking the lead in drafting the board resolution that's presented on the agenda tonight. In all transparency, that's where we've used quite a bit tonight. We got some difficult days ahead of us, as do many school districts throughout the state. And so again, I want to commend you, President Rock, for conveying to the community, conveying to your fellow board colleagues, and working in tandem with the superintendent and Ms. Flowers in her capacity as business administrator to prepare our community for what lies ahead with respect to budget and what our expectations are in terms of what will happen in Trenton. As we know, we can only control what we can control when it comes down our way. But notwithstanding that, the decisions that have to be made are made with diligence. I've seen that as a board member now serving in my second term. The decisions that have to be made with respect to funding if things don't cut our way. These decisions obviously are always taking into account what's in the best interest of our students. So again, President Rock, thank you for your leadership with respect to this issue, and hopefully whatever comes of it early next year will be beneficial to our district, but more importantly, beneficial to our students.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Any other comments? So I'll just add, as Larry mentioned before, the two bills referenced in here are not perfect. They don't solve all of our problems. They do solve some substantive problems. The resolution does also include language urging the legislature and the governor to address two of those other problems, one being the inclusion of district income in our calculation of local fair share, one being the lack of funding, appropriate funding for transportation. So while we do hope that these bills that we've referenced pass, we will continue to advocate for additional funding for West Orange. But hopefully this is one step in making the funding formula better for us and allow us to better do our job to provide a thorough and efficient education for our students. So with that, Ms. Flowers, would you please take the roll call?
Dr. Bryant? Yes. Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Ms. Vera?
Yes.
Vice President Ifker?
Yes.
President Rock?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much to all of my board colleagues. Next up, we have petitions and hearings of citizens for any agenda or non-agenda item that you wish to discuss. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Please approach the podium at this time and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, good evening, Jason Brome, 14 Whitman Street. Good evening, President Rock, Superintendent Moore, members of the board. I'm a proud West Orange resident of 20 years, and more importantly, I'm the father of Carly, an Edison student, proud Edison student, an 11-year-old dancer. I'm here tonight representing not just my family, but the families at Concepts Dance Academy, also known as CDA. CDA is not just a business, it's a minority-owned institution operated and owned by a fellow West Orange resident and neighbor who pours her heart into our youth. I'm standing here to talk about yesterday, Sunday, December 14th, the day of CDA's recital at the high school. As you know, we had the snowstorm Saturday evening, but by yesterday morning, the skies had cleared. The DPW did a fantastic job on the streets. They were blacktop clear. I drove past the high school. The parking lots have been plowed and were safe. For the dancers at CDA, Sunday was supposed to be the finish line. If you have children in the arts, you know what Tech Week is. It's grueling. For months, children, some as young as 3 up to teenagers, have practiced tirelessly. The week leading up to yesterday involved late nights, exhausting rehearsals, and nervous excitement. My 11-year-old was ready. Her teachers were ready. And then at the very last minute, we received the news. The event was canceled. The heartbreak in my house was real. Tears were shared. But as parents, we explained that safety comes first, right? We tell our kids it's out of our hands. The school isn't safe to open. But that isn't true. Because while our children were at home, devastated that their hard work was put on hold, West Orange High School was open. At the exact same time that our recital was canceled, the high school was hosting the Cheerleading Mountaineer Madness event. The doors were unlocked, the lights were on, the heat was running, and hundreds of people were inside the building. And this is where confusion turns into frustration. I'm here to ask for transparency regarding the decision-making process. How does the district determine that the facility is safe for a cheerleading competition, but we can't host a dance recital? How is the parking lot accessible for one group of parents, but not for another? When a minority-owned local business like CDA rents your facilities, are they held to a different standard than a school-sponsored event? Was this a safety decision, a financial decision, or something else? These questions matter because it sends a message to our children that their hard work was expendable. You cause a logistical nightmare to families and to a business owner who did everything right. We're not looking for special treatment, we're looking for equal treatment. And we want to know what the protocol is so we can plan for the future. The assurance that when the sun is shining and the doors are open for one group, they're not going to be slammed shut on us. We love this town. We love and support our schools. All we ask for is to support all of our community's children equally. And we look forward to a clear explanation of why yesterday happened the way it did and how you ensure it never happens again.
Debbie Rimbert. Debbie Rimbert, 11 Whitman Street, mom of 2 West Orange High School alum with a current sophomore at West Orange right now. And she's a volleyball player and she plays in the band. Good evening, Mr. Moore, board members, and West Orange community. I am Debbie Rimbert. I am I've been living in town for 22 years. I am the owner of Concepts Dance Academy. I'm hoping I can get some clarity on the reason of the cancellation of the Concepts Dance Academy concert on December 14th, especially in light of the cheerleading competition which occurred that day after receiving many calls from parents about why there were multiple cars parked in the parking lot, but I told them that West Orange canceled my show. From the perspective of our dance students, many of whom live in West Orange and attend West Orange Public Schools, who dance in the dance program, twirl flags in the band, and also have participated in many of the theater productions, trained at Concepts, and encouraged to participate in all those things when they arrive at West Orange High School. Our students also come from surrounding towns. It raises questions about how decisions are made across programs scheduled that took place Sunday, December 14th, as far as student programming. All parking lots were cleaned and full of cars. I have pictures if you'd like to see them. I live across the street from the high school. Full of cars and all walkways clean as of my arrival at the high school at 11:30. Our call time, my time to load in was 1. The children were scheduled to come at 2 o'clock for the performance at the auditorium. And this is not our first year coming to West Orange for shows. I said something about I told you about the pictures. Clarity and understanding the decision when you get 35 calls from parents who are from the town who tell you, why are you canceling a show? Why have I paid all this money for tickets? Why did you have our kids come and rehearse for 2 weeks for tech time? Why do I have grandmothers and grandfathers who are flying in just to see their grandchildren perform? And your show was canceled. And they live in the town and they see cars. And not to mention, many of our dancers are friends with the cheerleaders who were at the cheerleading competition. In addition to my little cousin, who I have a picture of, who also cheered yesterday at the cheerleading competition because she chose to do that instead of perform at the show. Understanding this decision was made for the dance show would be helpful as I work to ensure equity to my parents and equitable treatment of all performing arts as a 25-year dance teacher also in the Orange, East Orange, and Newark Public Schools. It is hard to explain to kids sometimes why arts matter more than sports, or it is the artists who really make the world go round. Again, I would just like to ensure equitable treatment for all performing arts functions and athletic functions, especially for community members and all stakeholders. I appreciate your guidance and clarity of what happened this past Sunday and why it happened. Because I have a lot of parents asking me for answers. And it's, again, hard to answer when they are sending me pictures of the cheerleading competition, the parking lot, in addition to me having my own pictures and evidence of why, again, one function was allowed to go on and another one was canceled. Thank you.
Good evening, Deb Cohen, 4 Hoyt Street, Madison, 25-year teacher in the district. I want to be very clear that the comments I'm going to make to start are in no way a complaint against our buildings and grounds workers in this building. However, the parking lot at the high school, both front and back, were a mess this morning and created potentially dangerous conditions, which when they have happened in past years have actually resulted in teachers being injured. Since I knew the permit system would let me see what was scheduled over the weekend, I went in and it showed a cheer competition, a dance recital, a few smaller events scheduled for the high school all day into the evening. I know the recital and other activities were canceled, but the cheer competition was not, which created a huge issue when it comes to Mike and his crew getting their job done. The parking lots were full of cars, making plowing impossible. I know that canceling events is a difficult decision, but we also need to remember that the parking lot is used starting early, 6 a.m. on a Monday morning, and thus Mike and his team need ample time to plow, clear, salt the parking lots and sidewalks before everything has been driven over, turned to ice. With cars parked there from morning to well past dark, I don't know how they accomplished even what they did, but the parking lots were still dangerous when we came in this morning. Again, I realize snow makes for large uncertainties and no one wants to cancel an event if it isn't necessary, but listening to many teachers in the morning, this morning, the blame was being put on our buildings and grounds department, and I don't think that's fair, but most teachers have no idea that an event actually happened here yesterday. As custodians are continually being cut due to the budget issues, they are already stretched far thinner than they should be. Having snow on top of that can't be prevented, but we should be able to we should not make their jobs even harder. Changing topics. I also am here to speak about the printers being removed yet again. I'm not going to rehash all of my comments from September, but I'm going to highlight the following. The largest one relates to our special education population, whether it is IEP compliance to provide notes and other materials in written form or allowing students to hand edit their papers, an important process for all students, but especially our special education students. Studies have shown how it is more effective for students to take notes and edit that way than on the computer. If they write something in class on the computer, they have to be able to print it out to edit it. Teachers who have large amounts of essays to grade or are helping students with their college essays often print them out, again, because it's easier and less straining on the eyes and not conducive to helping students. Students in many of the related arts classes at the middle and high school print out items, whether for inspiration, detailed plans to determine edits, or to display on a bulletin board. There's often not another way to make this happen. The comparison made at the last West Orange High School faculty meeting to having one printer in Kelly 25 years ago, and it was fine, was laughable. The idea that the centralized printer areas will not break down as often as the new copy machines do is laughable. We had messages by this morning at 8 o'clock that both copy machines in the building were down. The idea that this is not going to interrupt instruction on a regular basis would be laughable if it wasn't harmful to our students and their learning. Our faculty meeting was dead silent as Phil explained why printers were being taken. Why didn't anyone speak up? Because any teacher that has contacted Phil via email has not received a reply or a very curse, this has to happen for network security. Again, I ask if it's truly a security issue, will administrators also be losing the printers in their offices and need to go to a centralized location? And once again, my biggest complaint, as always, is that this decision was made that affected every teacher K to 12. No one ever asked the teachers for input. Education, in my opinion, is not and is a long time away from being a
Thank you.
paperless or
Your
even a near
time is
paperless
expired.
environment.
Thank you very much.
Hello, members of the board and Mr. Moore. My name is Josh Goldfarb and I live at 10 Nance Road. I'm also the president of the WOEA and have taught Roosevelt for 12 or so years. I'm here to talk about technology. I'm sure that many in the community may not be aware, until Deb just spoke, that the district is currently removing printers from all of our classrooms. This is already taking place in the elementary schools and is taking place in the middle schools this week. This decision that directly impacts our ability to best serve our students was seemingly made with zero input from the teachers, paraprofessionals, and everyone else who interacts with students on a daily basis. We are directly impacted by this decision, but when our thoughts and concerns have been brought up, the response that we have received has been at best inefficient and at the worst non-existent. The reason we have been given for these removals is that having the printers connected to the network is a potential security risk, and that maintaining these printers is costly. These are both legitimate concerns, but addressing them by completely removing printers is just throwing out the baby with the bathwater. We have been told that instead of printers, we will have to print directly to one of the copying machines in the building. But that is highly flawed. The copiers, yes, even the upgraded ones, are prone to breaking, jamming, and running out of toner and staples. In my building just the other week, of our 4 copiers, only one of them was functional, and of course, it was the slowest one. What happens when a student comes to class and their Chromebook isn't working, which happens all the time? How can I print a copy for their work? Should I leave the students alone and get copies elsewhere and just leave them alone in the classroom? I think that'd be a bad idea. What happens when I need to print a single piece of paper? I'd have to walk to a different part of the building just to get a single piece of paper, which is a pretty bad use of my time. What about the logjam at the copiers when all of those single papers and all the packets and all the tests are going to this printers all at the same time? The result will be eating away at the time that we have to prepare for class. Will administrators be losing their printers? That seems like a really bad idea, but if the issue is cost and security, wouldn't keeping their printers be equally insecure and costly? But today, I'm not here with just complaints. I have a solution. Rather than tossing perfectly functional printers and toner cartridges into a landfill, please consider an alternate solution. If the concern is that printers connected to the network are a security risk, simply hardwire the printers to the computer and eliminate wireless printing. It's a simple solution. As for the maintenance, what if we gave the teachers an option to keep their printer with the understanding that the district will not be providing any future toner or providing any sort of maintenance, but we could still keep the printers and do our job? There is a way to maintain security and reduce costs without taking the printers away. By the way, you may notice that I'm reading this from my phone. I sent this to be printed at the copier in the back at 4 o'clock, and it still hasn't come through. So there you go. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kim Fields Murphy. I live at 53 Quinby Place, and I'm a speech and language specialist in the district. I work between Redwood and Edison, and I've been in district 20 years? 21 years. Okay. Something that I would like you to be mindful of and take into consideration as you start to really delve into making up a budget is child study team members and related service providers are paid on the teacher's salary guide. And the problem with that is teachers do not pay any additional fees to retain their certification after it is initially received. Speech and language specialists who are licensed and certified pay the most in fees to retain those licenses and certifications. For our certification, we pay $250 annually, and for our license, it is $170 biannually. We have to attend seminars that it varies in prices from $325 up. And the professional development that is provided by the district cannot be used. We cannot submit that documentation to be able to retain our licenses and certification. Social workers, they pay $200 biannually to retain their licenses. Their seminars can range from $150 to $200 for a one-day course. Occupational therapists pay $160 biannually to retain their license. Their seminars can range up to $300 for a one-day course. Psychologists do not pay an annual certification fee, nor are they licensed. However, their seminars and workshops are costly. Behaviorists are BCBAs. They pay $215 annually, and their workshops can run from $100 to $200. And they also, like the speech and language specialists, have to retain 32 continued education units for every 2 years, and our cycle runs every 3 years, 2 to 3 years. The license is 2 years. We need 30 CEUs for that, and we are evaluated every 3 years and have to fulfill that obligation with that. A one-day workshop could offer us 5 to 6 CEUs of that total that we need to provide evidence of when it comes time to renew. Not only do teachers not pay anything additional to maintain a license or a certification, but the PD that the district offers satisfies their state requirement. In addition, social workers, psychologists, occupational therapists, speech and language specialists, and behaviorists are required to submit information.
Thank you very much
Oh,
for your
man.
time.
I should have spoken faster.
Thank you.
Adam Kramer, 43 Conforti, apartment 77. It was noted in the agenda that our director of technology, Mr. Santiago, is retiring after a long career. I wanted to recognize him, even though he's not here. He has presided over a time when technology in this district had changed drastically. He's done an admirable job of it. From my perspective, if during COVID, Mr. Santiago wasn't here, the district literally would have shut down for a year and a half. So I think he should be recognized. I also want to talk about something that's happened pretty much mostly positive in the last year. About a year ago, we were here talking about test scores, and there was a lot of disappointment. I know Ms. Bryant had a lot of serious questions about the test scores. I recently noted that the 24-25 results came out on the DOE website, and there's some real positive differences, particularly in middle school math, 5th grade math, and it should be noted. On the bad news, my view is the concept of average for this district should be in the rearview mirror, so there's still work to do. So, thank you.
Hi, Joy Burnett, 63 Pilat Place. I just want to thank you for closing schools on Election Day. I was actually out walking my dog. I live in the Hazel neighborhood, and I was walking my dog when all of the police vehicles came up the street, and it was really scary. So I appreciate you closing schools because it's a scary time. So thank you so much for doing that.
Good evening, everyone. Let me address the closing so that you can understand what went into that. We don't want to close, and we weren't trying to close, but as the snow came down more and more, I think what people are missing is we're in a budget deficit. We don't, as you heard the teacher say today, that was up there saying, even with the time we had to clear the parking lot, with the manpower we now have to do it, it wasn't perfect. When we have vendors that we don't want to close on you, and you've probably been here 20 years and never had a problem. Unfortunately, when it comes to whether the administration at the time have to think of a few things. Safety, and I know the cheerleading competition was going on earlier, and it continued to go on, and those cars were in the parking lot. But as it was coming down, they made a call to close all afternoon events, which unfortunately included the dance competition. We're sorry about that. It's not meant to be against you because we thought, there should be some inequity. That's not even in the concept. It was more of, look, we're liable if someone slips and falls. We're liable if our priority, even if we have to take a loss from a vendor, is to have the building and the campus prepared for the students and teachers the next day. That was difficult because we have made many cuts to our buildings and grounds. We have made many cuts in terms of equipment that we used to have a vendor come in to help us with the plowing, and now we needed to try to do this stuff on our own. As you heard, as the teacher spoke up there, she was saying, well, maybe you needed to cancel events because this morning it wasn't perfect for us and people have gotten hurt walking out of cars, which has happened. I'm sorry that that was canceled, and we'll try not to do that. Of course we will. But sometimes administrators make calls based on safety and liability, and they're not perfect and they're not always right, but that's where it comes from. It's not an intention to make things go wrong. It's not a slight. We more than offer you a chance to reschedule, refund, whatever we need to do to make up for that, we'll do that. But please, when you're speaking about that, understand it came from a place, they're not thinking like that. They're thinking of the liability. If your guests were to slip and fall, that would be our responsibility. And if we can't have the campus ready for our teachers and they slip and fall, that again is a liability. There are many facets to making calls with weather and safety that are well beyond just, okay, the cheerleaders were down there and this. They were already down there. They had it going. We had all our manpower down there and Alyssa trying to clear that area out. But that was all the manpower we had for the entire evening to get it together for this morning, because we are in a budget deficit. We don't have the money to just pour people out to come out and do that, as we may have had in the past, where we can have an army of people working and we wouldn't have had an issue maybe, but we don't have it. This is very real. We are very limited on the way we move and process it. I know people are asking to use the facility because they have incredible programs. No disagreement there. All programs that are offered by community members and vendors outside of here are incredible programs, and we know you put a lot of hard work into them. We're not denying them. But in order for us to have you in our program, it costs money. By law, we have to have someone here with a boils license. By law, we have to have someone here for security. By law, we have to have certain things happen. So there are more things to those moments that are just like, okay, willy-nilly, just close because we just feel like closing. And would we try to do that to you again? Of course not. Do we want to do that? No. And we hope that you do put on your show here, and we do hope that it goes smoothly and that we won't face such a deficit. And if we can help it, we wouldn't cancel even with weather if we are able to do it. But that even the competition was a challenge for us. We did want the people to gather and leave. It was hard to do that at that point because we had so many people there. And so that was a challenge. It was also a challenge just for us to clean up after they left, because the cars pack the snow, which when you don't have plowing becomes a challenge. So there are many reasons why things are canceled, and none are done with malice. They're just done because we have to make a call sometimes on what we believe would be liability or safety. And therefore, I'm sorry if it doesn't always fit people's needs or feelings or times. And they won't happen often enough. This may be just a one-off with us, but we don't want you to hold that as that is it. That's the way West Orange operates. It's not. It was a call that had to be made. It was made during the time that competition was going on as well, to shut down evening events, not just in the high school, but any of our other recreational campuses or other things that people may have had going on scheduled in our other schools as we were trying to prepare our campuses to be open this morning. So I just want you to understand that, and that's the explanation for that. I'm sorry again, extend that to you. Well, you can have them look at me on this and let her know. But I do, and I know you run a great program, and you have wonderful children that I've had lucky enough to, I know. But again, let them know that we're at, I hate to say this, and I don't want to say this out loud, I'm not proud of it, but we are at a shoestring staff. And it's unfortunate. And those of you that saw the budget last year and watched where the cuts came, I think that you would have understood that we are literally, and getting the campus together was part of the issue there. And again, I'm sorry that that happened to your dance competition, and hopefully we make up for it and we make, it'll be okay going forward, and you'll do many more dance recitals with us. I can't speak to, I would like to try to answer some questions on the printers, but I will tell you that a lot of it is financial. There's more automated movements, and I know that Phil's not here who would have the explanation, and I'm sorry to that wonderful, Deb is our wonderful teacher that was describing that. She might not be here right now, but I would like to say that she's here. Deb's here. Oh, Deb, hi. How are you? Oh, Deb. All right. I got you. Financially, I think that a lot of decisions that are being made that are off than what we usually do. I'm going to say that, and again, I'm not in Phil's mind, but based on the huddling we have done to try to conserve and save money, I'm going to say that a lot of that's attached to finances. And, with the printing and taking care of the printing and the toners and things of that nature. So I think that although there's some inconveniences happening now, as you know, on the other budget, we were looking at cutting jobs and this and that, and a lot of places in which we've taken money through transportation, maybe some equipment, obviously our buildings and grounds, things of that. So we do stand still. We're still within that same deficit we spoke about. That's very real, and we are still limited, but we're trying not to bring discomfort if we can. And now that Phil's retiring, Deb will take a look and see if oh yes, that's true. He did have some good say, but we'll take a look and see what we can do in terms of printers. I can't promise you that he may not have the most optimal idea. I'm not sure, but some of these decisions, and I know they're not comfortable, are really entrenched in us working with a very tight budget right now. So I just want you to know that in regards to the printer. All right, and thank you. I'm glad that you noticed that we were moving in a direction with our math programs and so forth. And credit to this board, as they have really placed a lot of support and energy and suggestions towards that. So thank you. Appreciate that, Adam. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Moore, and thank you all for your comments this evening. Our next board meeting for the purposes of reorganization will be held Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. What time is that meeting, Ms. Flowers?
5:30.
Is 5:30?
Yes.
For the
the
reorg?
rest
Okay.
notice.
5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. This meeting will be held in the West Orange High School Library Media Center. We will not be going into executive session after the close of this meeting. There will be no further business discussed and no additional action will be taken. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you, everybody. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Our meeting is now adjourned. We wish you a good night.